Hello guys, today I'm going to help you to create your own chat box using Skapi. Skapi is a serverless backend API which helps us to build our full-stack web applications using only HTML and JavaScript. So let me show you guys how it works. First we need to sign up, so we are signing up with email numbers from 1 to 4 at gmail.com. The password is going to be the numbers 1 to 6 and the name is going to be Skapi. And you can also use the same email and password to log in. When you log in, you can see your chat box where you can insert your group name. It's going to say that you joined the chat and you can start messaging. You can send this to your family or to your friends and start messaging right away. So without further ado, let me teach you guys how to code this. First, we need to have an account in Skapi. So if you don't have one, sign up. And when you sign up, the first thing you're going to see is the Create My Service page. We are going to create a service called Chatbox, and we have 3 modes, and in this case, we are just going to use trial mode. And now you already have your Skapi keys and you can start to code your Chatbox. You're going to need 4 files, style.css, signup.html, and login.html. The styles.css I'm going to share with you guys in the description. But in order to do the sign up and the login, we already have another tutorial, so please follow that one first. And now we are just going to make a small modification to our sign up and login.html pages. In the sign up one, we are going to create a h2 tag so we can put the title of our page, sign up, and we are going to put also a new label called name, in which the input, we are going to create a placeholder called your name, and the input is going to be name. If you click with the left and open with live server, you can see here your sign up page. In the login.html, you're going to create the same h2 tag just so we can identify which page it's which. And in the login, you're going to redirect the action to the index.html page. And enter, and you can already have a head and a body. And in this case, and don't forget to connect with your Skapi keys. So remember to put them in your head, and we can create a h1 element just to see if everything's working. Let's go then to our sign up page. Put the numbers 1 to 6 at gmail.com. Password, you can set it up, and the name is going to be Skapi. We then log in with the same email and password. And here we have our chat box, so we know everything's working. We can, in this case, remember that I told you guys that you can only use that if you have an account. So we are going to first check if the user has an account. We are going to create a script tag, and we are going to use a Skapi method called skapi.getProfile. And when this is resolved, what we are going to do is that we are going to create an arrow function. So we can put profile arrow function, and we are going to log the profile to see if the user is logged. We are also going to create an if condition to check if there is no profile, so the user is not logged. We are redirecting it to the login.html page. You can do that by using window.location.href equals to login.html. Else, if the user is logged, we are going to use a Skapi method called skapi.connectRealTime, and we are going to pass the real-time callback. This function, we are going to define it a little down. So function real-time callback, we are passing the RT, and right now we are just going to log what comes. So what's happening is that we are checking if the user have a profile. If they don't have, we are redirecting it, and if they have, we are connecting real-time. This allows us to connect to the WebSocket, and every time it's connected, the real-time callback function is going to run. And this real-time callback function is going to run every time somebody sends a message or enters a group. Great, we can go back, click with left inspect. If we go to console, we see we have 2 objects. The first one is the user profile, where we can see the email, the name, the user ID. And the second one is what we are logging in the real-time callback. It says that we connected to WebSocket service. Great, now we are going to create a form which will allow the user to submit to which group they want to enter. So we are creating an input tag. We are putting the ID group name. The name is going to be the same. We are also putting the type text. We're creating a placeholder, writing insert group name, and we are putting that required. So the user needs to put a group name in order to send the form. We are creating a second input, which allows the user to send the form. The ID is going to be connect, and the type submit, and we put a value connect as well. Here you can see we already have this insert group name, and we can connect. However, when we connect, nothing happens. So let's create a function. We are adding onSubmit to the form, and we're creating a function connect group, which we are passing the event. Let's go down into the script and create this function. But before, let's get all the values. Let's use let group name equals document.getElementById group name. And let's copy it and paste again, and let connect button equals document.getElementById connect, which is the ID. Let's then create a function called connect group, which we are getting the event. And the first thing we need to know is to which group this person wants to connect. So we are getting group name is equal to group name.value. And we are using a Skapi method called Skapi.joinRealTime, in which we are passing the event. And when we join, what we are going to do is then we create an error function in which we are just going to console log the name of the group the user is joining. So we are using backticks, so we can use the variable group name. We are writing connected to. If you want to use the variable, we use $, curly brackets, and put the group name inside. So let's see if everything is working correctly. Here you can put the group name. When you connect, you get connected to test, and you also get the real-time callback log that we are doing. You can see here user, this is the user ID, has joined the message group. You have the sender and the type that is notice. Great, now let's create a new form where the user can submit the message. It's going to be very similar to the previous one, so we are just copying and pasting it, and let's just change the IDs. First one we are changing to MSG because it's going to be the message, same name, type text, and let's just change the placeholder to insert message here. The input to send the form as well, we are changing the ID to send and the value to send. And here now we can see that you can insert a message. When you send, nothing happens because we don't have a function still. So let's create onSubmit, and the function is going to be send message, which we are getting the event. Let's go down and create this function send message, which we receive the event. And what we are going to do is that we are going to use the Skapi method called Skapi.postRealTime, in which we are passing two parameters, the event and the group name. When this function is resolved, we are then creating an error function in which we are just going to clean the message input. So message.value is equal to empty. Let's see, we connect to a group, we send a message, and here we can see that there is a type message, and inside MSG we have hello, we have the sender ID and the type. Every time the user performs an action, you can see that there is a logged, and they have different types. One is success, another one is notice, another one is message, and one is closed. So we can see that when there is message and notice, we have a sender ID. However, when we have just connected, we don't have a sender ID. So what we want to do is, every time we have a sender ID, which means somebody enter or send a message, we want to then show in the chat box. We are going to do that inside the real-time callback function. So the first thing we are going to do is that we are going to check if rt.sender. So if there is a sender, we want to display the message. We are going to go up, and we are going to create a new div, which the ID is going to be Chatbox. And inside this if statement, we are getting that div, so let Chatbox equal document.getElementById Chatbox. And we are creating a new div, which we are going to define the message and then append it to the chat box. So let message div equal document.createElement. So we are creating a new div. And inside this message div, we are going to put whichever message we want to create. If there is a sender, we also want to check which type of message it is. So we want to check if rt.type equals message, we are going to define message div.innerHTML. We are creating then an HTML element, and we do that by using /HTML / and backticks. And in order to make this color-coded, you can download an extension called ES6 string HTML. So inside the message div.html, we are going to just create a new paragraph. And we can see here message. Inside MSG, we have whatever we typed. So we can put $, curly bracket, rt.message.msg. So inside all of this is going to be what we typed, and we are going to display now. Don't forget to chatbox.append the message div, and let's see if it works. When you enter a group and you start to send a message, now they are append to this chatbox div. Else if rt.type equals notice, we want to display a different message. It's going to be quite similar, so we can just copy and paste it back, and we want to send another message. We don't want to send whatever you type, we just want to say that the user joined the group chat. So let's just erase this and put user joined the group chat. Let's save and see if it's working. When you enter a group, now you can see user joined the group chat, and when you start sending messages, they appear in the chat box. However, we also want to put the name of the user. We want to say who is sending these messages. So what we are going to do is that you can see every time we have a sender. So using the sender, we can then get the user information and put the name of the user. So what we are going to do, we are going to create a new function called function checkName, in which we receive the sender ID. And what we are going to do is that we are going to let user info be equals to a Skapi method called skapi.getUsers, which we are going to use search for user ID, and the value is going to be the sender ID that we received, and we are just going to log the sender ID, the user info. Remember, we are going to log only after we get all the users, so we are going to use wait, and let's turn our function into async. Here inside, if we have a sender, let the name be equals checkName, and we are passing the sender ID, in this case is rt.sender. When we connect to a group, we can already see here that the user info, we have a list with all the users. In this case, we only have one user, and we can see the name and the user ID. So now we have the name of whoever is sending these messages. What we are going to do is, we are going to create an object called users, so we don't have to call this Skapi getUsers method every time somebody sends a message. What we are going to do is, we are going to call it only once, and we are going to save the user sender ID as a key and the name as a value. So users sender ID equals to users info.list, the first one, .name, and we are going to return users sender ID. So we are returning the name. We are saving it in this object, and now let's just comment it and let's check. If users and the key sender ID, if it exists, it means we already call to get this information. So we don't need to call it again. Let's just return users with the key sender ID, and the value is going to be the name. But else, if we don't have the name yet, we are going to then call the Skapi method. So you can uncomment and put it inside the else. Remember that we need to use await with the checkName, and only after we get the name, we are going to run all this other code. And let's turn then our real-time callback function into async. Inside the message div or the message, we are creating a new paragraph where we are putting the name, so the username, and we are also changing here in the notice message, we are putting $, curly brackets, and we are putting the name, so we know which user joined the group chat. Remember then to connect it to your styles.css, which I didn't do before. So we use link, and the href is going to be styles.css. There is the file that you have on the description. When we go back, we can see that we can then connect to a group. It says my name, Skapi joined the group chat, and now every time I send a message, it says that I was the one sending it. So I have already my name. So yeah, this was it for today. Thank you guys for following along the tutorial. Subscribe to our channel, give us feedbacks, and I'll see you guys next time.